whatever that means for you. And yeah, take a moment to just arrive and start to slow your breath down. You might even start to soften your gaze or let your eyes close completely. And begin to take those nice, long, slow, steady breaths. And I encourage you to begin with a breath in through the nose. You're welcome to start with an exhale out of the mouth. Do what you can to take a moment to pause between your breaths in and your breaths out. You can take a few more cycles of breath with that pause at the top of the inhale. And after exhaling completely, just a couple seconds to pause at the bottom of your breath. And yeah, repeat that for a few rounds. Just encouraging everything to slow way down. You might observe your posture and encourage your spine to lengthen on the breaths in. Do your best to keep your spine tall as you exhale and let the shoulders melt down your back. And let's take one more complete breath. And as you finish your breath out, lower the chin to your chest. And take your ear toward one shoulder. Feel free to hold there for a moment before rocking through to the other shoulder. And we'll just go back and forth with some half neck circles. And if you're feeling called to open up to a full circle, lift up through the chin. Notice if you can do so without creasing the back of the neck, but finding length on all sides. And once you've rotated a few times one way, go ahead and spin the opposite direction. And we're gonna pause with the shoulder toward the left ear, or left ear toward the left shoulder. And you can float the right hand by your side. Go ahead and reach the palm toward the earth. It does not have to touch here, but just find that length from the base of the wrist all the way up to the ear, and then start to add some little movements here, maybe with some rotation in the fingers and wrists. Play with an open fist or a closed one. Maybe start to spin from your upper arm externally, internally. And continue with those full breaths, maybe a little movement of your head as well. And option here to take the left hand behind your back and grab the forearm anywhere from higher up by the elbow, or perhaps closer to your wrist. And you're going to use that connection to slide the shoulder blades down the back and maybe lift up through the chin. You can add some slow movements of the head here and notice how that might open up different areas of the neck. Do your best to keep the chest nice and proud here. So rather than caving in the chest, lift the center of your sternum. And take just a couple more complete breaths. And it may feel good just to be still as well. With a breath out, gently release, return the chin to the chest, hands to the lap. Take your time to rock your ear to the opposite shoulder and float the other hand down by your hip. So again, we're trying to press the palm to the earth to create length all the way down that side. I'm going to add a little bit of movement. Notice what feels good today. Nice long, steady breath. And if you like that variation where the hand comes behind the back, you hook onto the forearm wherever feels accessible, and then use the hand to pull that shoulder blade slightly down. Then lift the chin up if you wish. And perhaps add some slow movements of the head here. Or even just wiggle the jaw, encourage that opening along the side of the neck. The chest lifted. Take a couple more deep breaths. As you breathe out, go ahead and undo. You can reset with the hands on the lap, chin to your chest. Take a nice deep breath this time and gaze all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, lower the chin back toward your chest. Do that once more. Nice deep breath. We'll take it into a seated cat-cow. So you're going to hold the first one. As you inhale, lift up, arch the back. You can even slide the hands in toward the body. So you're squeezing the elbows in toward the sides of the ribs, lifting the heart, maybe lifting the gaze. And then as you exhale, go ahead and tuck the chin. Let the shoulder blades slide apart. Maybe the hands glide down toward the knees or the shins. You can also lean back here, encouraging that space between the shoulder blades. And tuck the chin slightly to complete that curve. And then we're going to rock back and forth. So you're welcome to hold either shape for a few breaths, or let it be a little more fluid and let the breath guide the movement. So option inhale and lift the heart, arc the back. And on the exhale, option to curl into that C shape with your spine. We'll do that a couple more times. Just one more deep breath. We can find a neutral position. As you breathe in, you're going to sweep the arms up and perhaps you hook the thumbs here. With the thumbs hooked, you're trying to pull the hands apart and simultaneously reach for the sky. Elongate the body as you lengthen your breath. And with an exhale, we're going to twist to the left. So option one, maybe the fingertips just graze the earth in front and behind you. Option two, you can open the palms away from the body and maybe press the front forearm into the same side leg. And then just an option here. You can play around with the height of that back arm. So maybe you start to float the back arm at a diagonal so the arms are spread nice and wide. Keep lifting the heart, maybe gazing in the direction of the back thumb. And taking those nice full breaths. Bring that spaciousness in the upper chest. And on the breath in, you're gonna reach up, face forward. Option to hook the thumbs the opposite way. Take an inhale, lengthen. And on the exhale, twist to the other side. So again, option one, maybe fingertips just graze the earth behind and in front. Option two, you're opening the palms, maybe connecting the front forearm with the inside of that leg. And then you can hold here for a moment. And then perhaps start to lift the back arm, finding that nice expansion. Continue to reach from fingertips to fingertips. Maybe look toward the back thumb. Nice deep breath. As you breathe in, we're going to reach back up, face forward. And this time as you exhale, let's tilt over to one side. So plant one hand, lift the other arm up. Use the bottom hand to press down into the ground and really create even more space on the side of the body you're leaning away from. You can bring the top hand to the back of the head here. And as you breathe in, we're going to rotate open. As you exhale, option to turn toward the earth, rotating from the mid and upper back. Keep it going. Inhale, open nice and wide. Exhale, turn to the earth. Let's do that twice more, nice and slow with the breath. More time. This next one bring you all the way through to the other side. And just a moment to pause here. So press that bottom hand down. Try not to lock out the arm and jam the shoulder by your ear. Find a little bit of softness and length on the sides of the neck. Nice deep breath. And then option to connect the head and the hand and add your rotations. Exhale to twist. Few more rounds. Nice, long, steady breath. And you're breathing in and out of the nose for the remainder of our session. Let's do one more this side. And then inhale all the way up and over to the other side. We're just going to rock from side to side here, using your breath. Let it take the entire time. Inhale upright. Exhale over. One more time. Coming back to center. And then you're just going to take an easy forward fold. So some of you might have fingertips on the earth here. Others might walk the hands a little farther and have palms on the ground. Maybe even forearms. You've got those blocks. This is a nice place to use them. You can use one or both. If you have forearms on blocks. If you are closer to the ground, you can also support your forehead. And wherever you are, find those nice expansive breaths where you can feel the back of the body expand on the inhale. And feel this front body soften on the exhale. Take 2 more deep belly breaths. And on the next inhale, you're going to slowly uncurl back upright. And we're going to shift to our quadruped position. So coming onto your hands and knees. As you arrive, set yourself up so the knees are stacked under the hips, hands under your shoulders. And here you get to kind of play around. Notice what movements your body feels called to take. Maybe some rocking of the hips in circles to begin. And also try on tucking the toes as you rock forward and back. You might actually add a little tail wag with the hips by the heels. Take a few more breaths to do what you need. We'll shift forward, so hands are under the shoulders, knees under your hips. We'll start with the wrists, so turn the thumbs to the top side of the mat, fingers nice and wide. You can begin to shift your weight from one hand to the other and really distribute the weight into your entire base of the hand here. So rather than just dumping into the base of the wrist, press into the knuckles and the fingertips, especially when you're leaning in toward that side. And then you can keep going here. You might choose to rotate the fingers in toward the knees. Thumbs can shift to the outside edges of your mat. And if that feels like a lot, you can undo or do one by one. If you're wanting more, press the hips towards your heels. Even just a couple inches can be pretty sensational. And if you wanted to add some movement of the spine here, maybe start to tuck the tail, dome the back, roll the chin to the chest. And then perhaps do the opposite. Lift the tailbone or the belly to drop. Lift your gaze. And again, complete that breath. And find a neutral spine, shaking out the wrists here. We'll do one more. You can do this one hand at a time, palm up, back of the wrist pressing down into the mat. And you can try on opening and closing the fingers. Go ahead and swap sides. It's okay for the arms to be bent here. Everyone's body's going to look a little different. And then let's release that. You're going to come up to kneeling, and some of you might choose to tuck your toes and sit back on the heels. That can give you a nice stretch at the bottom of the feet. If that feels like a lot at any time, you can shift to the tops of the feet. And if you're having trouble kind of bending the knees into that full flexion, you can stack 1 or 2 blocks between your hips and your heels. So take a moment to set yourself up. We're going to spread the arms wide with your breath in, and then sweep the left elbow underneath the right. And option 1, you're grabbing opposite shoulders. If it feels accessible, see if you can stack the elbows and then maybe squeeze the forearms together. If you've got that, you want to take it further, maybe the palms come together. Whatever you're choosing, you're squeezing the arms together and lifting the elbows to shoulder height. Thumbs are by the face, try to draw them away from you. And then lift up as you inhale. And on the exhale, find a rounding in just the upper back as you lengthen the elbows away. Again, inhale, lift and elongate. As you exhale, curl the upper back. So really feel that broadening at the back of the shoulders. And one more time with your breath. Next inhale, go ahead and unravel. If you've got the toes tucked or you need to switch up your stance, maybe come to the tops of the feet for this one. Go ahead and sweep the opposite elbow underneath, whatever side you missed here. And then same options, 1, 2, or 3. Keep squeezing the arms together, whichever you choose. And as you breathe in, lift up. And on the exhale, curl the upper back. So notice I'm not hinging at the hips here or doing my best to focus on the upper body. Go ahead and do that one more time. Nice, long, deep breath. Next inhale, unwind. For this one, you can bring the hands behind the back. If you've got a strap here, you might use it to extend your reach. A towel or a t-shirt can work too. If you've got the hands together, we're going to drive the knuckles down, squeeze the shoulder blades in toward one another. And the key is really broadening that upper chest. So you might find a slight tuck in your tailbone, pulling the low belly in as you do this. Some of you will keep looking forward, which is great. If you do want to lift up through the chin, we're not crunching the back of the neck, but just keeping everything nice and long. And last but not least, if you have the desire to fold at the hips here, you could start to lift up through the arms and lower the crown of the head toward the earth. Your head may or may not touch here, but if it does come close to the ground, try not to dump a lot of weight on the head, but focus more on reaching up through the arms and opening the shoulders and chest. We're here for just a couple more breaths as long as the mind is working for you. And when you're ready to release, take your time, slowly unwind with a breath in. You can release your grip, and if it's comfortable to do so, take maybe just 1 or 2 breaths with the hips to the heels. Palms might face the sky, and maybe the eyes close as you slow the breath down once again. And just tune in to any sensations that might be arising. Perhaps you feel your heart beating a little bit faster. And then we're going to shift into child's pose. So option is start with embryo pose with the knees together, arms by your sides. Palms can face up here, front of the shoulders lower down to the earth. Then maybe the forehead comes down or is supported as well. If you do prefer to take extended child's pose, you can keep the big toes together but widen your knees and reach the arms to the top of the mat. So we're here in either of those shapes for at least 3 to 5 slow and steady breaths. The first few breaths might be passive, meaning just let the body be heavy on the earth, little to no effort. If you are ready to wake things up a little bit, you might shift into extended child's pose with the arms out long and the knees wide. Here you can flip the palms up toward the sky and press the forearms down into the ground. Find the sensation of actively reaching the fingertips away from you while simultaneously trying to drag the elbows in towards you. Arms are going to stay straight and put where they are, but find that dual lengthening and dragging the arms in toward the body. If you like, you can keep the right palm facing up and then slide the left fingertips in toward the left knee. You're going to use the left hand to press down and then rotate the chest away from the earth. So bottom forearm gets heavy on the ground. You're still finding that sensation of reaching the fingertips away and trying to pull the arm in towards you. Your head might be floating off the earth here. Some of you might be resting the head on a block. And take just a couple more breaths here, adding that rotation in the chest. And an inhale, elongate both arms out in front. Palms can be up or down. Take a nice deep breath. And then keep the left palm facing up. Slide the right fingertips in toward the right knee. Use that hand to press down and twist away from the earth. Notice if you can get heavier on that bottom forearm by pressing the forearm down and finding that push-pull sensation. Couple more breaths. And then inhale back to center. Palms can be up or down once again. Some of you might bend the elbows and bring the hands together, thumbs to the back of the neck. And you can play around with the position of the arms here. Maybe walk the elbows farther away from the knees and then press the chest down toward the ground for a couple more breaths. And then gently release. Press yourself back through to all fours. Knees under the hips. Let's go ahead and step the left leg straight back, toes on the earth to start. And you're focusing on opening your calf here, the back of the leg, maybe with some movement, warm up the feet. Nice. And we're going to float that leg to about hip height. Point and flex the foot, add some rotation here. And then start to float the opposite arm forward if you like. Nice full breath. Long body. Nice. One more breath here. Feel your leg actively working. And we're going to lower just the hand. Actually bring the floating toes down to the earth for a moment too. The knee that you're kneeling on, you're going to sweep that foot behind you to the long edge of the mat, and then spin the heel of the straight leg down to the ground. If you have a block, you might place it underneath the bottom hand. And then from here, you bring the top hand to the hip. I want to see how it feels to float the straight leg once again. So bottom hand might be on the earth. If you feel like you need a break from the wrist, you can come onto your forearms here and flex the toes in the direction that your chest is facing. You should feel the booty working here. If you need to tap the toes and lower or lift and lower, you can do that a couple of times. Otherwise, one more breath here. You're going to slowly rotate back to all fours. And maybe just a couple rounds of cat-cow or sideways cat-cow, looking over one shoulder. Yeah, for your tail at the back here. And then let's take it to the other side. So straighten the right leg straight back behind you, toes on the earth. Press through the heel. Maybe add a little movement, rocking forward and back. You're going to lift the leg to about hip height. So toes are flexing down to the ground. You're trying to stomp the wall with your heel. Feel the muscles of the legs working. Remember this sensation. And maybe the opposite arm reaches forward here, thumb to the sky. Nice long breath. Body. One or two more breaths here. Keep pressing the earth away. And then you can lower the hand and tap the back toes. So the knee that you're currently kneeling on, you're going to sweep that foot behind you to the long edge of your mat. You can keep that bottom hand down. And again, if you've got a block, you might find it useful to plant the hand on the block. Notice the block is not underneath me, but a little out in front of the shoulder. And then maybe the top hand comes to the top hip. And then you can start to float the straight leg, flexing the toes in the direction that your chest is facing. And you should feel the booty working here. And again, feel free to tap the toes and then float back up to hip height. It's possible you might cramp here, so if you need to take a breather, that's fine too. One or two more breaths. If you've got hand on the earth or the block, keep pressing the earth away, lengthening through the floating heel. And then you slowly rotate back to all fours. Blocks can stay near the top of the mat. Maybe a couple rounds of traditional cat-cow, or if you prefer that sideways cat-cow moment, maybe a combination. And then we're going to press back to downward facing dog. So take a deep breath in and out. Once you arrive in down dog, go ahead and start to bend your knees. Extend the other. Maybe add a little rotation. So as you bend the right knee, you're trying to peek under the left armpit. And rotate to the opposite side. Maybe you might shift to a plank. And press back to down dog. And take another couple of breaths, doing what you need. Perhaps just finding a moment in stillness. You can try on bending the knees, but lifting the tailbone. Really press into the entire base of your hands. Feel that long spine. And on the next inhale, look forward, tiptoe the feet to meet your hands, and land in your forward fold. I like feet about hip wide here. You might dangle the arms or cross them. Can feel nice to gently sway the upper body. Maybe nod your head. We're going to slowly release the arms and uncurl up towards standing. Once you arrive, we'll take a few of those shoulder circles. Rotate the opposite direction. And then take a moment to feel the feet beneath you. So really press down through the big toe, pinky toe, center of the heel. Maybe turn the palms to face forward. And perhaps you close your eyes for just a couple of breaths, mountain pose. And feel your legs start to activate. So what I mean by that is firm up your thighs. Maybe feel the kneecaps drawing slightly upwards without locking out the legs. And then you can tuck the tailbone, pull the belly in, engage your core. And as you inhale, think about lengthening through the very top of the head. And as you exhale, reaching the fingertips down toward the earth. Take one more deep breath. Feel that strength in the mountain pose as you inhale, flutter the eyes open, sweep the arms all the way up, and exhale, draw them into your heart. We'll add our forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge from your hips. Inhale to a nice half lift. So flat back here, hands on the shins, or slide them all the way up to the creases of the hips. You can press the hands into the legs here and squeeze the elbows in toward the body. Feel those muscles along your backside working. Lengthen the breath once again and fold on your breath out. Inhale back to standing, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more time, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale halfway, just one breath. Exhale, refold. Inhale all the way to standing. Press through the feet. Exhale, hands to the heart. We're going to take it to our kneeling lunge. Deep breath in. Exhale, bow. Inhale halfway. As you exhale, plant the hands, take the left foot back and that knee to the earth. Hands can begin on the front thigh and notice your foundation. If you need to widen your stance here for a little more stability, that's great. And then option to sweep both arms up by the ears. Option to bring the left hand to the back of the neck. So same side as that back leg. Maybe you grab onto the tip of the elbow. Option to lean a little to the right. Couple breaths. You're leaning toward that front leg if you choose. You might even use your head to press the upper arm open and get even more space in the chest and shoulders. As you breathe in, we're going to reach both arms up by the ears. And then exhale, palms forward, elbows wide. One more time, deep breath, reach high. Exhale, expand. This time, inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, bring the left hand down across from the left foot. So another great place to use your block here. You can stay in your kneeling twist. Maybe you tuck your back toes and drive the back knee as straight as you possibly can. Lift the gaze up toward that top thumb. And maybe even lean back slightly in the upper chest. Find that space across the heart and collarbone. And as you exhale, release back to downward facing dog. You can always come through all fours. Shift right to down dog. Nice full breath. As you inhale, look forward, step the left foot forward, back knee down. Hands to the front thigh. And again, find your foundation. Chest stays lifted here. Both arms are going to sweep up by the ears. Same side as the back leg. You can bring that right hand to the back of the neck. Maybe grab the tip of the elbow. Take an inhale, lift the chest, and maybe lean toward the front leg sides. You're opening up the whole right side body. And nice and strong, pressing into the feet for a little more lift in the chest. The next inhale, both arms reach high. Exhale, elbows nice and wide. One more round, inhale, arms up. Exhale, open. This time, inhale, reach. As you exhale, bring the right hand across from the front foot. Again, option to use your block. You can stay kneeling in your twist or straighten the back leg. Maybe gaze toward the top thumb. And some of you might encourage that top arm to open even further. Peeling the chest open. Pressing through that back heel. Just one more full breath. And then exhale, release back to downward facing dog. Perhaps through all fours. Deep breath here. As you inhale, lift the left leg up and back. Exhale, plant the foot between the hands and rise for warrior two. So spin the back heel down to the ground, arms reaching over your ankles. We'll take a couple lunges with that front leg. So straighten the front leg, reach up. Exhale, return, warrior two. Do that a few times with your breath. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, bend the front knee. Nice. One more time. As you inhale, we're going to reverse our warrior. Front arm floats away from the front thigh. Little to no weight in that back hand, but maybe look toward the back pinky toe and press the edge of that foot down. Take a nice full breath. As you exhale, tuck the arm the opposite way, extended side angle. Perhaps the top arm comes up by your ear. You might also press the bottom arm into the inside of the front knee and use that to spin the chest open away from the earth. You can totally rest that forearm on the front thigh as well. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, back upright. We're going to cartwheel the arms down, step back to your plank, and with or without the knees, lower down to the belly. Once you land on your belly, I'm going to have you cactus your arms. So elbows at about 90 degrees in line with the shoulders. You're going to float the arms off the earth, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And on the inhale, you're going to reach the fingertips out long in front of you. As you exhale, squeeze the elbows down by the ribs. Option to float the legs as well here. Same thing. Inhale, reach it long. Exhale, squeeze the elbows down by the ribs. Keep it going. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze, lift the chest. Let's go for 2. Nice. These are challenging. Keep breathing. Last one. As you complete that breath, maybe you stack the palms and rest the forehead on the hands. Might feel nice just to wiggle the hips a little bit here for a moment. Or choose stillness and take a nice deep belly breath. And don't get too comfortable. We're going to do the other side. So press back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And long breath out. As you inhale, lift the right leg up and back. Exhale, plant the foot between the hands. Rise to warrior 2. As you get your foundation here, take a moment to settle in. And we'll add those lunges. So straighten the front leg, arms reach up. Exhale, rebend, warrior 2. Few more, nice and slow with the breath. Looking good. One more. Keep the legs in warrior 2 and then reverse the arms. Reverse warrior. Maybe peek toward the back pinky toe and press the edge of that back foot down. As you exhale, tuck the arms the opposite way. Option 1, forearm is on the thigh, but I'm not collapsing into that bottom arm. I'm keeping space between my shoulder and my ear. If you're feeling strong today, you might press that bottom arm into the inside of the leg and then rotate the chest. Take strength wherever you are. Take another inhale, come back up to standing, and then exhale, cartwheel the arms down. Take it back to your plank. With or without the knees, lower down to the belly. And then we're take those same kind of prone back bends. So starting with your cactus arms, you're going to float the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, maybe lift the legs as well. Inhale, lengthen from fingers to toes. And as you exhale, squeeze the elbows by your sides. Few more, just like that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze and lift the chest. Couple more. These are really good for your posture, improving and strengthening the entire back body. Let's go one more. I'm going to take a moment on the belly. Maybe stack the palms, wiggle the hips. Some of you might like to bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And wherever you are, take one more deep belly breath. Try to slow everything down. And then you can press back. If you need a moment in child's pose, that's great too. Otherwise, reset in down dog. Take a 3 or so breaths. And actually, if they're not already, make sure you got your blocks set up near the top of the mat, about shoulder wide, and you might start on the highest setting for this one. So inhale, lift the left leg up and back. And you exhale, plant the foot between the hands. We're going to step the back foot in. So go ahead and come up to standing. Feet are about a stride length apart, and the back toes might be turned out slightly. If you need to, you can widen your base here so chest and hips are facing forward. We're going to start with hands on the hips. Take a deep breath in, lift the chest. And with an exhale and a nice flat back, start to hinge at the hips, leading with the heart. Some of you might bend that front knee a little bit if you're feeling especially tight in the hamstrings. And you might keep hands on the hips or float the arms by your sides, palms facing the ground. Notice if you're kind of rounding and the chest is falling here. Lift the heart and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Keep reaching the fingertips and crown of the head in opposite directions. You might hold and breathe here. If you'd like, you can start to round the spine, bring your nose toward your knee, and maybe fingertips to the earth, or again, another awesome place to utilize those blocks, or perhaps that chair in front of you, or even a wall if it's accessible. So a couple of breaths. If it feels good, let the head and neck relax. Bring those nice deep belly breaths. And for this next one, it is helpful to have a block or even a sturdy water bottle can work. So we're going to take it into revolved pyramid. I'm going to move this for visibility. You're going to keep the right hand on the block about across from that front foot, maybe slightly out in front. Press down through the hand and then rotate the chest toward your front leg. There's a tendency for that front big toe to peel off the earth. Keep pressing it down into the ground. And gaze wherever feels good for the neck here. One or two more breaths. As you release, we're going to come hands back down to the ground or the blocks. This is a great place to use the blocks. So we're going to shift into supported warrior 3. So blocks are going to come out in front of you. You can bend the standing leg to begin and then float the back leg. Try to stomp the wall behind you. So like we did in that kneeling version, toes are flexing down to the ground. You're welcome to stay here and focus on just finding that nice long line from head to toes. If you want to take it into half moon here, left hand on the block, you're going to bring that block slightly out to the side for a little better balance. Right hand can come to the right hip, and then you're going to peel the right hip open and turn the toes out to the side. So this can be a really challenging one. You might keep looking down at the ground, or you might turn your gaze in the direction that your chest is facing. Wherever you are, do your best to keep breathing. And then we're going to fold forward. Feel free to use the blocks here. Feet can be nice and wide. You can also release hands down to the ground. Let the head and heart relax. Option for your half lift with or without the blocks, lifting the heart as you breathe in and then folding as you breathe out. Slowly uncurl towards standing. And as you inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Nice work. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to your half lift. You exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back. Option for your push-up and back bend of choice. Otherwise, you're just going to meet in downward facing dog. Once you arrive in down dog, take a nice full breath. And go ahead and lift the right leg up and back. Exhale, plant the foot between the hands. Gonna step the back foot in so the heel can be down. Feet are about a stride length apart. Maybe the back toes turned out slightly here. Start with the hands on the hips. Take an inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, with a nice flat back, lean forward. Hold and breathe. Hands might turn by your sides, palms facing the ground. Peeling the front of the chest open. Squeezing the shoulder blades together at your back. Keep pressing down through that front big toe. And then maybe you start to fold forward here. And again, fingertips can come to the earth if you've got that chair in front of you, or maybe you bring the blocks a little closer, find a height that works for you. If it feels comfortable to relax the head and neck, take those nice long and slow breaths. And then we're going to shift into our supported warrior three. So if you're using those blocks, go ahead and shift the blocks a little farther forward. You can start with a bent, the standing leg bent, and then we're going to float the back leg up toward the sky, but in line with your hip. Start with the front of the hips pointing down here and really flexing that back foot so you're strong in that floating leg. This is a great place to stay. If you'd like to come into your half moon, you're going to keep the right hand on the block, maybe take it slightly out wider, and then maybe bring the opposite hand to the hip. Slowly start to rotate the hips open. So you're stacking the left hip on top of the right. Notice if you're really heavy in the hand here, it may not happen, but try to lighten the load. Keep pressing whatever's touching the earth at your block. And just one or two more breaths. Stay focused. And your release of the forward fold at the top of the mat. So again, blocks can be useful here, but not absolutely necessary. Take those nice long and slow breaths. You might even use your peace fingers to hook onto the big toes here. It is helpful to have the feet wider if so. And after a half lift, you can try to draw the crown of the head down toward the ground. Elbows can bow out wide. Maybe encourage the head to relax by nodding yes or no. And then you can release the toes. And we're going to come all the way down to the ground. So however you want to land there, I'll meet you on your bum. You can keep, if you've got blocks nearby, you can keep one of them within reach. And go ahead and land all the way on your back. Let's start with the feet wide, knees pointing up. And you can do this with or without a block. If you want to take supported bridge, you're going to use a block and slide it underneath your sacrum, so the very base of your spine, closer to the tailbone, not the low back. And then once the hips are supported, or even if you're just on the ground here, perhaps bring the hands to the belly or the ribs. And take those nice, deep belly breaths. So like we did at the beginning, try to slow the breath down. Maybe let the eyes soften. And see if you can take a moment to pause between the breaths in and the breaths out. A couple more full breaths. And then some of you might stay just as you are if you're enjoying this support. Another option here is to lift one leg up toward the sky, reach through the heel, maybe bend and extend that leg a couple of times, or point and flex the foot, maybe swirl your ankle. And then you can bring that foot back to earth. We'll take it to the other side. So lift up through the heel, toes toward the nose, maybe bend and extend, point and flex or swirl. And whether you're on a block or on the earth, you have the option to bring both legs up toward the sky. Maybe hands come down to the ground, palms on the earth for support. And then you can either just hang out here without much effort. One option for you is to add a little internal and external rotation of the legs. So you can see how it feels to bring the inside of the heels in toward one another. They don't have to touch. And then you can rotate big toes in toward one another and heels away. You can just pin the thighs in the hip sockets here, externally and internally. Maybe just one or two more times. And an option is just hang out, take a breath, and If you're ready to lower, go ahead and bend the knees. Slowly bring the feet back to earth. If you are on a block, you can press into the feet, slide it out from underneath you. And perhaps you take a moment in constructive rest with the feet wide and knees together like a pyramid. Perhaps a hand on the heart, the other on the belly. And some of you might prefer soles of the feet together with the knees open here. A few breaths, whichever you choose. And feel the body slow down. Feel the support of the earth beneath you. And perhaps you remain here for the last few moments of our session. If you'd like, you can take a moment to squeeze into a tight little ball, maybe knees toward the chest, forehead to the knees, arms wrapping around the legs, giving yourself that nice tight squeeze. And then let it go and find your final relaxation pose. Perhaps the feet fall open, arms relax down by your sides, palms might face the sky. Take one more deep breath in through your nose and exhale completely. Just feel the body get heavier and heavier each exhale. And if there's anything that would help you relax and release even further, give yourself permission to allow you to fully surrender. I'll let you be in quiet and stillness. And I'll let you know when it's time. If you have the means to stay here a little longer, you are welcome to remain as you are. It's time to move on. Take that nice deep breath and start to wake up the body with some small movement. Maybe your full body, good afternoon stretch. And if you like to bend the knees one by one, you might choose to roll to your side and just take a moment to hold and breathe there. And take your time to press yourself back upright. And we'll conclude with just one more breath. Go ahead and find your tall spine. Exhale all the air from the lungs. Take a deep breath in through the nose, maybe hands to heart. And let it all go. Thank you all so much for continuing to join me in this powerful practice. Until next time.